7 months after Trump's Justice Department said they didn't even have enough evidence to open investigations into anyone else linked to Epstein. And the British think there's enough in those files to warrant literally arresting a member of the royal family. The former prince is being investigated for accusations of misconduct in public office, a specific British legal offense that carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. And according to reports, the former prince has been under scrutiny for allegedly sharing confidential government documents about British trade with Epstein. Now, the former prince, now known as Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor, has consistently denied any wrongdoing, but as far as we know, no formal investigation has been opened into former Prince Andrew over the most egregious and longstanding allegations against him. The allegations by Virginia Giuffre that she was trafficked to then Prince Andrew by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and forced to have sex with him while she was just 17 years old. That is a picture that was snapped on her camera nearly 25 years ago. Allegations, again, that Andrew has consistently denied. Here's how Virginia Giuffre described her first interaction with Andrew at Ghislaine Maxwell's London townhouse in 2001. This is from her memoir, Nobody's Girl. When Prince Andrew arrived at the townhouse that evening, Maxwell was more coquettish than usual. Guess her age, Maxwell urged the prince after she introduced Virginia using her nickname. The Duke of York, who was then 41, guessed correctly, 17. That night, Epstein himself allegedly took this now infamous photo. Epstein took this photo, but it was on her phone. Andrew denies the authenticity of the photo, but emails in the Epstein files show Epstein discussing the photo as authentic. After taking this photo, going to dinner and drinking at a nightclub, Giuffre alleges that on the ride home, Maxwell gave Giuffre a directive. When we get home, you are to do for him what you do for Jeffrey. And back at the house, Maxwell and Epstein said goodnight and headed upstairs, signaling it was time that I take care of the prince. He seemed in a rush to have intercourse. Afterward, he said thank you in his clipped British accent. In my memory, the whole thing lasted less than half an hour. The next morning, it was clear that Maxwell had conferred with her royal chum because she told me, you did well, the prince had fun. Soon Epstein would give me $15,000 for servicing the man. Again, we at MS Now cannot independently verify any of those allegations, and that may not be why Prince Andrew was arrested today. But he was still arrested, and the British government is still investigating his ties to Epstein. That's what accountability at the highest level actually looks like. Meanwhile, here's how our president in this country reacted to today's news. This video here is a little choppy, but I think it's important to see.
Do you think people in this country at some point, associates of Jeffrey Epstein, will wind up in handcuffs too?
Well, you know, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing.
It's a shame. Not sure that's what the vast majority of other people think about the news today. Joining me now are Sky and Amanda Roberts, the brother and sister-in-law of the late Epstein survivor, an incredibly courageous advocate, Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Sky, your statement was incredibly powerful this morning, and we've talked many times about your fight for justice, both of you, for your sister. But tell me, I mean, I know I woke up this morning and saw the news on my phone, and I thought, holy cow. But I imagine the reaction was much more dramatic. I said something much harsher than that, or much stronger than that. But I imagine the reaction from both of you was much more emotional. How did you learn? What was your first reaction when you saw the news this morning?
Jen, you hit it on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if Virginia would have said anything, it probably something you couldn't say here, too. We got a call from our publicist at 3 o'clock this morning. So you can only imagine, you know, just the adrenaline rush right away from it. And there was just a sense of joy and and pride of oh, my God, it's another vindication for our sister and for survivors out there. And, you know, we got the call from Deanie von Muffling, who is Virginia's longtime publicist and friend and just an amazing human being. And, you know, it felt surreal. I felt like I was in a haze for a moment. Is this real? Is this real? And then I read through the article and then we did our interviews throughout the beginning part of the day. We haven't slept since then. Honestly, who could? I can't. At least we can't. And I remember going to breakfast this morning, and I just just like started crying. Just like this emotion of like, we're so proud of her. You know, it's even though he's getting arrested on charges that may not be affiliated directly with the sexual allegations that my sister had brought against him, it's still a form of justice. These are the things that our survivors are waiting for, and we have to give survivors, my sister, the day here, and give them that win, because they come so few. They really do. And so we felt, I can tell you, I felt a lot of emotions, Jen. Happy, sad, mad, angry, now motivated. So we're going to keep going because there's so much more to do.
There's so few moments where I know you and other survivors and families have felt justice. And it's incredible, I have to say, to hear that you had that moment this morning, even though it was about something else. Let me ask you, I reread parts of Virginia's book this morning, and we just shared some of it as well, because I felt it was important for people to hear how she articulated her accusations against Andrew and how serious they were. And we don't know that there's an investigation into that, but she talks about the photo I just showed. It's almost 25 years ago. It was March 25 years ago when that photo was developed. She talked about it in her book. And Amanda, let me ask you, I wonder, and we don't know this, but without that photo and without her advocacy, I don't know that they would have looked into Andrew, but what do you think?
That photo was such a pivotal moment in this case. You know, oftentimes when survivors come forward, it's always he said, she said, and society is inclined to believe the he before the she. And what she did with that piece of evidence, which was submitted to the FBI, which the original photo is still in their possession, it was verified that it was a real photo. That was such a critical turning point. And I mean, we're talking about, 25 years ago it was taken, and the way that it just consistently resurfaces over and over and over again. I can imagine it is the biggest thorn in Andrew's side, and it gives me some joy to know that they still cannot get away from this photo that they've backtracked and claimed wasn't real. Time and time again, it's been proven that it is real and that Virginia was telling the truth.
Yeah, that photo is just lives as evidence, or evidence of him being with a 17-year-old, standing with a 17-year-old, and she really outlines it in her book. As you mentioned, Skye, we don't. We don't know. There is no evidence right now of an investigation into the accusations Virginia made, but they seem to be taking. I mean, they did arrest a member of the royal family this morning who she's made accusations against. Have you heard from the British authorities? Are you hopeful that there could be an investigation into the accusations Virginia made?
I really hope so. I think our sister has proven to be a truth teller time and time again. To answer your question, Jen, no, we haven't heard from any British authorities at all. Although we're very open to it, I just want to make that clear that we would again commend the King and commend, the UK for actually taking a stand against this when our own government won't. But yeah, I mean, I believe my sister, Amanda. We say it all the time. Like, the files are exposing this at this point. I mean, there's no like gray line here anymore. You can read through them yourself. It's pretty damning when you go through it. I mean, even just the email that Virginia had talked through, even that you talked through briefly here moments ago, is that it proved that not only is the photo real. I mean, Ghislaine sent her own email basically routing out one of her best friends of, yeah, the photo's real. It was taken at my flat. And yeah, it absolutely introduced her to the prince. So when are we going to start believing survivors is really my question. When are we going to start like making the burden of proof on survivors a little bit less than what they are now? Because my sister paved the way, and now we're trailblazing through it. She did it for us first. Now we get to carry on the legacy behind her.
Andrew, as you well know, and for viewers, was not the only person that Virginia bravely accused. And she testified against others as well and named other names in testimony that's openly available in depositions. One of them was Les Wexner. And he had a deposition yesterday that the video is now out of that deposition. And I don't know if you've seen this, and it's upsetting, but I want to play it for you because I think it's important for people to hear what he had to say about it, given what Virginia has said and what she experienced and lived through. But let's play that part of the deposition.
Are you aware of who Virginia Giuffre is?
No. Familiar name, but I've heard it, but don't connect it to anything.
Did you ever have any sexual contact of any kind with Miss Giuffre?
No. How would I have contact with somebody I don't even know?
Miss Giuffre has accused you of performing sexual acts with her multiple times. You dispute these allegations?
She must be confused. No, it never happened.
Again, it's upsetting to watch. It is because, as I just noted, Virginia accused Les Wexner of forcing her to have sex multiple times with him, of being trafficked to him. Again, he denies those allegations, just said he doesn't know her. But what do you want people to know? What is your reaction when you watch that video?
Yeah, I think the response is very familiar, right? We've seen this response before. We've seen this response from Andrew. He has no recollection. And, it's the typical response, right? I think, the first attempt at questioning is deny. And so that's the level that he's at right now. It's actually not shocking, to be honest, they've spent a lifetime denying any implications with Epstein, even though there's mountains of proof that potentially Les Wexner may have bankrolled Jeffrey Epstein. So that alone is it further proves why, yes, we have these depositions, we have these hearings, but it's the first step. Let's indict. Let's actually go after the money trail. Let's really open a serious investigation. And so, it's not shocking to get that response from him. It's irritating. It's angering. This is the same nonsense that survivors have been dealing with for 30 years, right? But it's the typical behavior. It's the deny. And so we're ready to move on for that and keep pushing forward.
You have more grace than most. I found watching it to be completely enraging.